Welcome back to Be Free by Lola with the ultimate question of, can life get any better or more aligned after completing layer 1 and 2 of the alignment pyramid? Well, perhaps you also hear that quiet whisper deep inside you asking, is this it? Is there more to my existence? What else is there? And yes, for sure, there is more. That yearning you feel inside has a purpose. It is trying to tell you something. So listen to it. Oh, that all sounds so mysterious, doesn't it? But don't worry. We will go deep inside what that is all about in this video. So stay tuned. Now, this video is the third part in a 3-part series of how to create the ultimate life alignment for yourself. That means if you haven't seen the videos on layer 1 and layer 2 of the alignment pyramid, I recommend you quickly go and check those out and then come back. It won't take long, and layer 3 will make a lot more sense when you've actually watched the videos about layer 1 and layer 2. Anyway, you'll be back in a blip. But for those who have already seen it, and I'm assuming that you've tended to the needs of layer 1 and 2, you'd probably be thinking at this point, but wait a moment, I've already attended to these really important needs. Shouldn't I already be in an ultimate alignment already in my life? And yes, if you have managed to learn how to navigate between these 2 layers well, and you've done enough healing work, then you're probably feeling pretty great already. But as stated before, this is layer 3, and layer 3 is for people who feel content, but hungry for more. And layer 3 is all about that more. Layer 3 is about aligning with what I would refer to as your higher self. And we are going to get into what the higher self actually is, tips on how you can create a stronger connection with your higher self, and what the benefits are of being and living in alignment with your higher self. So, to start though, it is important to understand that tending to layers 1 and especially layer 2 is really important in order to gain a clearer connection to your higher self. So doing the work of layer 2 ultimately leads to a clearer and purer form of yourself. The more conscious you are of your ego and self, and don't let it control you unconsciously, the better you can access layer 3 of alignment. This is because there is less of a restrictive egoic frame, hardwired beliefs, and a limited construct of your mind, then the better you can actually connect to the expansiveness of the higher self. And this is important. Beware of skipping the work of layer 2 and doing what is called spiritual bypassing. This is where you avoid doing the real healing work and just jump into a new ego identity that just sounds like you're a more healed version of yourself, but it's actually not. It's just a new way to tend to your egoic needs. So that's why you can't skip any layers when you're wanting true alignment with your most authentic and highest self. The higher self goes beyond the ego, fear, and beyond the conditioning of the earthly human of layer 1 and 2. The higher self is as pure as your essence can be, your soul, connected to the infinite wisdom of the universe. The higher self is part of the collective consciousness on this earth and in the universe. And your higher self is supportive of your human self. And it tries to communicate with you. And it tries to guide you to your inner clarity and your purpose. But we will elaborate on that a little bit later further. So when you have done the healing work and you've tended to your personal and egoic needs, you'll actually start to feel a lot more inner space inside of you to look outside of you. because you are no longer in a state of survival and unawareness. Because when there is still a lot of inner work to do, there's very little space in you to think selflessly. But the more you are filled with love and fullness and free from conditioning, the more you have to give. In fact, there is probably nothing more selfless you could do for yourself and for your loved ones and for the future generations to come than to tend to those inner wounds. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, watch my video on the evolution of humanity titled The End of Suffering. This is also reflected in how the higher self connects to the collective. People often describe that through getting access to their higher self, they gain clarity on their purpose. A purpose that is often actually beneficial for the greater good, so for the collective. So even if you don't believe in the universe or the higher self or any form of spiritual connection, there are countless stories of people experiencing deep fulfillment through helping others, through giving selfless and unconditional love, by taking a perspective that goes beyond the self. Supporting the community is a universal language of love, and you don't have to be spiritual for that. But here again, it is important to understand that acting for the collective is only really possible if you have tended to the layer 1 and 2 alignment needs properly. Burnt out people pleasers and self-sacrificers are energetically depleted because their actions are not 100% pure and also partly inauthentic. I'll give you a useful analogy to understand better what I mean by that. So it's like what they say when they talk about safety on a plane. They always tell you to put your own mask on first before helping others. Not taking care of your needs ultimately leads to mental and physical health issues. And you need to take care of this gift, this vessel that you've been given. You have to appreciate it. In the long run, everybody benefits from you taking good care of yourself authentically. And here a reminder to watch layer 2 of the alignment pyramid in case you haven't, to get more clarity on what I'm talking about in this aspect of being more authentic. So as stated before, aligning with the higher self can offer a deeper sense of fulfillment. This doesn't mean that you can't feel good if layer 1 and 2 are satisfied, but layer 3 is for those, as mentioned before, who feel an inner pull towards something more, and layer 3 is that more. Layer 3 of alignment gives you an experience of living on a different plane, different frequency, which can feel more intense, more connected, and more deeply meaningful. So if you're happy with layer 1 and 2, then good for you. But if you're craving more, then it makes sense to try and connect more with your higher self. So what are the benefits of living in alignment with layer 3? One of them is a clearer sense of purpose and direction, which can take time to crystallize itself, by the way. So it's really important during this time to release all judgment around what you feel called to do. Whatever you feel like devoting your time and energy to doesn't need to be understood by others. Just follow what makes you feel enthusiastic. Maybe you feel called to build a business of some sort, to help people, to create art, to be a good dad, a good friend, a good boyfriend, girlfriend, or whatever you feel drawn to do, whatever is calling you to go towards, whatever makes you feel excited. That is the direction that you could go. And if you're concerned about not contributing enough to the collective, don't worry about that. Because honestly, you have no idea how or why what you are doing might contribute to the collective. The ways of the universe are absolutely mysterious. Your soul might need to do what you need to do in order to grow or to progress, So don't judge yourself. Just go with the flow. Follow your excitement without judgment or insistence on the outcome. That is where your purpose would lie. And that's a little quote from my favorite channeler, Bashar. Another benefit of connecting with the higher self and the universe is that you start to understand the vastness of existence. Because zooming out from your limited perspective can reduce the suffering that comes from being stuck in the egoic self. The more you are aware and practice the connection to higher self, the more you can integrate this presence into your daily life. You basically begin to embody your higher self from within your human vessel. And daily life issues won't faze you as much because you feel the magnitude of all that is beyond anything that can upset the egoic self. And you'll start acting from a place of unconditional love and see that life is about more than just what meets the eye. There is more joy, more love, more fulfillment, and more aliveness in you when you live from a state of higher self. It begins to affect your choices, your personal path, your alignment with purpose, both personal and collective. So finally, here come the tips on how to connect better with your higher self. I recommend that you take a screenshot of these in a second because I'm not going to go really deep into depth about this. I will maybe make another video on this topic in the future. We will see. As you might have predicted, meditation plays a big role in this connection. It supports your self-awareness, which is really good to practice in your day-to-day life. So you can be more aware also of which layer currently needs attention, because we're constantly navigating these 3 different layers of alignment. All forms of meditation are valid. You can listen to music. You can do guided meditations. You can try walking meditations. You can do dance meditations. Everything is allowed. And don't fool yourself in believing that it requires a quiet mind to meditate. It's actually exactly those with the most active and noisy minds who need meditation the most. With time and with more practice, the more you will connect your body, mind, and soul, and things will start to calm down. So don't be judgmental towards yourself and think, oh, I can't meditate. Meditation is for everybody who wants it. Other tips and methods to support the connection to higher self include being in nature, spiritual consciousness practices, and one of my personal favorites, but I say this with a disclaimer, expanding your awareness in a conscious, safe, legal guided space using natural psychedelic substances. And please inform yourself about your medical history and the appropriate procedures beforehand, and also the intention behind you taking these natural psychedelic substances is very important. The more you take care of the different layers, the more you will feel in flow and satisfaction. But navigating these different layers can be a little challenging at first. This is why I offer mentorship programs for those who are looking for support. The journey of alignment is also about authenticity and deconditioning, so having some guidance along the way can make all the difference. Check out my description text or my website. And if this content resonated with you, don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel for more content around alignment, self-love, spiritual growth, and intuitive eating. Sending lots of love, your Lola.